Here's something most people get wrong about Texas quiet. They think it means settling. For less infrastructure, less culture, less of everything. There is a roadside parking lot in the middle of the Chihuahuan Desert built specifically to watch lights that have flickered on the horizon for over a century and that nobody has ever explained. The town behind it has about 1,800 people and no traffic to speak of. That is not settling. That is a choice. Most people assume quiet is something you accept when the better options run out. This list is about the people who decided it was the destination. 12 Texas towns with room to breathe, ranked for how well they actually hold up when you run the honest numbers. Distance, services, risk, and what daily life costs you before the scenery even enters it. We do not cover Texas the way the real estate brochure does. If that is the kind of information that is useful to you, subscribe now. It costs nothing, and it is how you catch the next one. Number 12, Salado, Bell County. Right on I-35 between Waco and Austin, which is either the best argument for it or the most suspicious thing about it, depending on how you read these things. Population around 2,500. The Stagecoach Inn has been on this ground since 1852, built as a Chisholm Trail stop, and its guest ledger across the generations reportedly ran from Sam Houston and Robert E. Lee to Jesse James. That is a lot of Texas in one building. The village never incorporated into a city grid, which is why the lot stayed generous and the pace stayed intact. You can walk the spring-fed creek, browse galleries, buy wine on foot, and never hit a traffic light. The interstate is right there and somehow hasn't swallowed this. The catch is two things at once. No hospital of its own. Anything serious means a drive up I-35 to the full-service center in Temple. And that same easy access that kept Salado sleepy is what's now pulling sprawl south from Waco and north from Austin. The needle this village threads has been getting harder to thread every year. The rarest thing on I-35 isn't a traffic jam. It's a village that forgot to become a suburb. Number 11, Comfort, Kendall County, about 45 miles from downtown San Antonio. Population near 2,000, and declining, not booming, which tells you something useful about the crowd situation. Founded in 1854 by German freethinkers, refugees from Europe's failed 1848 revolutions, who valued secular education and free speech so much the town had no church of any kind until 1892. To this day, it has never adopted a formal municipal government. That was not an oversight. That was the founding principle. On a quiet street, here stands the Truder Union Monument, raised in 1866. One of the oldest Civil War monuments in the country and one of the very few anywhere in the South that honors the Union side. It marks the Unionist German men of this county who tried to slip south into Mexico in August 1862 rather than serve the Confederacy, and were caught and shot by Confederate troops along the Nueces River. You stand in front of that stone marker and absorb the fact that this town chose that side, at that cost, and then built the monument while the wounds from that war were not yet 10 years old. That is what the founders believed they were putting in the limestone. The catch: unincorporated means no real city services, so you trade convenience for calm. And that calm has a ceiling. San Antonio and neighboring Bourne keep pushing hill country growth and land prices steadily up the road. A town that never voted itself a government is either the freest place in Texas or the most stubborn. Probably both. Number 10, Wimberley. Hays County, about 38 miles southwest of Austin. Population roughly 2,900. This is the Hill Country postcard. Spring-fed Cypress Creek, the Blanco River, swimming holes, an arts and market scene, ranch land in every direction. Jacob's Well is here, an artesian spring dropping into one of the longest underwater cave systems in Texas. It is a stunning place to swim. It has also killed experienced divers who push too deep. On paper, it looks fine. Then you look at the flood map. Wimberley sits in what locals actually call Flash Flood Alley. Not a dramatic metaphor, just the regional nickname. On Memorial Day weekend of 2015, the Blanco River rose more than 40 feet in the dark. 13 people died. Around 350 homes were destroyed. FEMA classifies it as a once in roughly 150 years flood event. Picture this. You swim in a clear spring-fed hole and watch the Blanco run low and calm and blue-green through the rocks. Then someone local points out that the watermark from that night in 2015 is still visible on certain trees along the bank. You start reading the landscape differently after that. Median home prices also climbed past $500,000, so the piece here costs both a real water risk and a real price tag. The most beautiful swimming hole in the hill country doubles as a reminder that nature does not negotiate terms. Number 9, Junction. The seat of Kimball County, right on I-10, about 115 miles northwest of San Antonio. Population around 2,450. The whole county, Kimball County, holds only about 4,500 people, which gives you a sense of the scale. Junction is named for the spot where the North and South Llano rivers come together, and the outdoor anchor here is South Llano River State Park. 2,600 acres, spring-fed water, one of the largest turkey roosts in central Texas, and more than 250 bird species logged. That alone would be worth something. But Junction also carries the Texas Tech University Center at Junction, a 411-acre field station and outdoor campus straddling the river, the largest inland field station in Texas, pulling about 4,000 students, researchers, and workshop visitors through town every year. You expected a ranching crossroads and found a working research station with a university connection, giving a remote county an intellectual pulse most towns this size do not come close to carrying. 2 rivers meet here. 4,000 visitors a year come specifically to study them. That is not nothing for a county of 4,500. The catch is straightforward. This is real ranch and hunting lease country with a thin local job market. If you are not retired, remote, or self-employed, the nearest broad selection of work and major shopping is a long stretch of I-10 in either direction. Number 8, Rockport. On Aransas Bay in Aransas County, mid-coast, population in the low 10,000s. For a coastal town, it stays genuinely unhurried. An upscale but sleepy waterfront of birding, fishing, and a small art colony, without the wall-to-wall condos of bigger beach cities. The birding is not casual. The Aransas National Wildlife Refuge nearby is the winter home of the last naturally wild migratory flock of whooping cranes on Earth. That population bottomed out at roughly 18 birds in the late 1930s. It has fought its way back past 500. World-class is not an overstatement. The catch is written into the geography. In August 2017, Hurricane Harvey came ashore, essentially on top of Rockport as a Category 4, damaging around 90% of the town's homes. Much of the city sits about 7 feet above sea level. Harvey is not old history here. It is the 2017 and the roof shingles visible on drives through certain neighborhoods. The wildlife is extraordinary. The risk is structural. The Gulf sets the terms on this coast. You don't. We are not done. Still ahead, a Panhandle town of 2,100 that built a genuine art museum inside a 1910 church. And the hill country community where the most popular overnight park in the entire Texas system has been holding a free dance every summer night for generations. Number 7, Canadian. Hemphill County, Canadian River Valley, northeast Panhandle, about 100 miles from Amarillo, population around 2,100. The Panhandle surprise is what this town is, and the gap between what you expect and what you find is the whole story. You walk into a converted 1910 former Baptist church and find the Citadel Art Museum. More than 150 paintings gathered from around the world, inside a building in a town that far from anywhere. A restored early 1900s movie theater stands in town too. The Fall Foliage Festival has run every autumn since 1957. And the Hemphill County Hospital District runs a genuine rural hospital with 24-hour emergency care, assisted living, and home health. A serious medical infrastructure for a remote town of this size. Canadian does not behave like a Panhandle town of 2,100 ought to. The catch is what buys all of it: isolation. 100 miles from the nearest city. Wide open skies come with brutal wind, hard winters, and a 2-hour drive to a mall or a major airport. A town that built an art museum and kept a real hospital out here is either stubborn or visionary. The fall foliage vote is unanimous. Number 6, Marathon. Brewster County, population around 410, which makes it one of the smallest, genuinely livable towns on this list. It sits roughly 42 miles from the entrance to Big Bend National Park and functions as its quieter northern doorway. The anchor here is the Gage Hotel, built in 1927 in Mission and Spanish style by the El Paso architect Henry Trost, commissioned as the headquarters for Alfred Gage's roughly 500,000-acre ranch. Gage died about a year after it opened. The hotel has since been restored and keeps a real restaurant, shops, and a steady trickle of travelers passing through. You stand in front of that 1927 building on a main street with no traffic and take in the scale of the thing. Someone built this as a working headquarters for 500,000 acres. The building is still here. Most of that world is not. The silence around it is its own kind of measurement. The catch. 410 residents means essentially no local economy, no hospital, and no grocery to speak of. Daily life means stocking up in Alpine and accepting that town here is one main street in an ocean of high desert. If the Gage Hotel anchors your social life, you have found the right place. And you are almost certainly the right kind of person. Number 5, Fredericksburg. Gillespie County seat, the heart of the hill country. Population around 11,400 to 11,800. It ranks this high because it carries the fullest real infrastructure on this list. Hill Country Memorial Hospital, with a nationally recognized joint replacement center, plus a deep bench of restaurants, doctors, and services most towns this size cannot approach. Founded by German immigrants in 1846, birthplace of Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz, and home to the National Museum of the Pacific War, a national-scale institution sitting in a hill country town of barely 11,000. That combination of infrastructure and history, at that scale, is genuinely rare. Here is what that's bought over time, though. Fredericksburg has been found. Weekends mean Main Street bumper to bumper, wineries booked weeks out, bachelorette party buses running rotation, lodging prices spiked. The exact thing a crowd hater is driving toward quiet to escape is the thing that shows up on Friday afternoon and leaves Sunday night. The best equipped small town on this list, available Tuesday through Thursday. If you have made it this far and one of these towns is starting to rearrange your thinking, subscribe. There is more of this kind of information coming. Still ahead. The highest town in Texas, where the civic complaint is too many porch lights. And the top spot, where the nearest traffic jam is 100 miles away, and the only real question is whether that sounds like freedom or something else. Number 4, Fort Davis. Jeff Davis County seat, unincorporated, highest town in Texas, population around 1,000 in a county of fewer than 2,000 total. The elevation brings cool summers and the kind of darkness at night that is almost gone from most of the country. The University of Texas McDonald Observatory on Mount Locke runs public star parties under skies that rank among the darkest in the lower 48. The whole area anchors the Greater Big Bend International Dark Sky Reserve, more than 15,000 square miles, the largest dark sky reserve on Earth. The town grew up around Fort Davis National Historic Site, one of the best preserved frontier army posts in the American Southwest. Davis Mountain State Park is nearby for hiking at elevation. Picture this. You leave the star party on Mount Locke and drive back down into town, and you realize the main civic concern out here is not traffic or noise or development pressure. It is light pollution from the next county over. That is the entire crowd problem in Fort Davis. The catch is genuine. The nearest full hospital is in Alpine, roughly 25 miles away. Job market is thin. Mountain winters surprise the people who think all of Texas is flat and relentlessly hot. If your idea of a crowd is too many porch lights, Fort Davis is not a compromise. It is the actual answer. Number 3, Alpine. Also Brewster County, population around 6,000. Brewster County is the largest county in Texas at more than 6,000 square miles, bigger than the state of Connecticut, and Alpine is its seat, which means Alpine carries the load for an entire Big Bend region of roughly 12,000 square miles and about 12,000 people. Big Bend Regional Medical Center is the only real hospital for all of it. Sul Ross State University is here too. That combination, one hospital, one university, one grocery run, all in a mountain town where the view from the parking lot is unbroken desert range, is what makes Alpine function as the regional capital by geographic necessity rather than by design. You fill a cart at the store, stop by the library, pick up a prescription, and behind the shopping center there is nothing but Chihuahuan Desert going to the horizon. Functional and remote is not a compromise Alpine arrives at. It is what Alpine is. The catch. Alpine is the big city out here only by comparison to what surrounds it. Specialists, major shopping, a real airport. All of that is still a long, empty haul east or west. The one town out here where you can see a doctor and a mountain from the same parking lot. Number 2, Concan. Northern Uvalde County on the Frio River, a community of a few hundred residents. It earns this near-top slot because the density is about as close to nothing as an inhabited place gets, and the natural anchor is legitimate. The Frio River stays spring-fed and genuinely cold through the Texas summer, in country where that matters. Just upstream lies Garner State Park, 1,774 acres of hill country along nearly 3 miles of river. the single most visited overnight camping park in the entire Texas state system. It has been holding a free dance in its 1940s Civilian Conservation Corps pavilion every summer night for generations. Living in Concan means a clear, cold river and dark skies in a community you count in the hundreds. Here is the part that earns it this ranking over everything below. The density is not low, it is nearly absent. The catch is the same coin. Concan swells in summer with river tourists and empties out afterward. No hospital, no real grocery, few year-round jobs. It rewards the retired, remote, or genuinely self-sufficient, and it penalizes everyone who needs something close at hand. What does that look like in practice? It means a medical event in February in a town of a few hundred people is a different kind of calculation than it is in a city. Number 1, Marfa, Presidio County seat, far west Texas, Chihuahuan Desert Plateau, 190 miles southeast of El Paso, population around 1,800. It takes the top spot for the most honest reason on this list. It is the one town here that is genuinely tiny, genuinely remote, and has a real reason to exist that has nothing to do with being close to anything. Donald Judd came to Marfa specifically because of the remoteness and the light. What he installed here: large-scale permanent minimalist works now held by the Chinati Foundation in converted military buildings at the edge of town. Transformed a ranching economy into an international arts destination without the town ever getting large enough to become something else. The population stayed around 1,800. The horizon stayed uninterrupted. The art and the emptiness share the same address. Then there are the Marfa lights. On some nights, southeast of town on the Chihuahuan Plain, lights appear on the dark horizon. They flicker. They move. They have been doing this for well over a century. Nobody has produced a satisfying explanation. The town built a dedicated roadside viewing area for them, which is its own kind of statement about what this place has decided to be. Picture this. You drive 190 miles of high desert, arrive at a converted military building, and stand in front of permanent minimalist sculpture under mile-high light, while outside the window there is not one billboard, not one chain, not one traffic sound all the way to the horizon. Then at dusk, you drive to the pull-off east of town and watch lights flicker on a dark plain that no one has explained in more than 100 years. The art is intentional. The quiet is absolute. The mystery is included in the price of admission, which is the distance it took to get here. Now the catch, which is the same thing as the whole appeal. The nearest hospital is in Alpine, 26 miles east. Serious trauma care is far beyond that. The county shares only a couple of ambulances. Jobs are scarce. The summer sun at that altitude is punishing in ways that catch people off guard. Marfa is the purest "I hate crowds" answer Texas produces, because almost nothing and almost no one is close enough to crowd you. The risk and the reward are not separate features. They are the same feature. That is what this whole list comes down to. Whether Marfa at number 1 sounds like freedom or like exposure is the question every town on this list has been quietly asking in its own way. The answer is the one trade-off you either can or cannot live with. In Texas, space and silence are almost never free. They are bought with distance. Every town on this list is a different answer to the same question. How far from a hospital, a job, or a grocery run can you actually stand to live? Which of the 12 would you actually move to? And what is the one trade-off you could not make peace with? Tell us in the comments. If any of these towns caught your eye, next we are going deeper into the hill country, where land prices and weekend tourism are quietly closing the window on the quiet that drew people here in the first place. Like this video, if it told you something, the brochure skipped, and subscribe. This channel runs on the same principle every town on this list was built on. A little distance from the noise goes a long way.